Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my round 8 review of the Carlton vs Brisbane game, going through who went really well, who went really badly, as we saw a really good vice captaincy score for anyone that took on Dunkley. And going through, I think we had some injuries. Yeah, we had one injury, and so before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as we can see for Carlton, Shearer went huge, and he's now probably in my plans for next week, as I think I can afford another round 14 guy. And with Shearer going at the moment, if we look here, not at that, if we look here at Shearer, 130 and a 132 in the last three. I mean, I'm kind of have to get in on that. And before he goes again, as if we look at CBAs for Carlton, I don't know if Shearer is going to be high on this or not. Shearer had 54. He's really doesn't rely on anything to do with CBAs at all, which is pretty good. I mean, you also got to look at Akers as well, has 1% CBAs through here, and he's also doing really well at the moment, as we can see with a 103. So Shearer is hugely important, I think, and especially due to the volatility of Cripps at the moment. Shearer's averaging 102, and that came off of a really rough start. I mean, but he's gone 130 plus in his last three games. If we make this a little bit larger to be able to see that, 130 in his last three games, and I think, who does he have next week? He's got Western Bulldogs. Did they play Western? No. And we saw in the Western Bulldogs game, if I want to bring it up, that they don't really tag a guy, and also they let Whitfield and Tom Green go nuts. So I'm thinking of bringing him in, because he'll have 4 weeks or so to go. He'll have still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks until he's around 15 by. So maybe. So that's kind of disappointing that he's around 15. I thought it was around 14. So it's trying to find a round 14 by guy at the moment. And it looks, I'll have to go through, but I might be able to get another round 15 guy if it gives me like 6 weeks of Shearer with the way he's playing at the moment. Because that 54% is on average with what he's getting. Then we move on to Doherty. Came back strong here. A 129, really good effort from him. 25 was his lowest, and then 31. Then we move on to Walshy here, a 109. I just think he's probably too expensive for, like, there's still a lot of value options out there at this point, like Shearer, Akers, and from Carlton alone. And then you have the likes of other players out there as well from other clubs that are going to go huge in the next couple of weeks. Then we move on to Akers here. I think he's still a really good option, because he had 96 through 3 quarters and easily could have gone 120 again, and that would have boosted him up. I mean, if we look at Akers, here we go. 98 average, has only really had 2 bad games, and in his last 3 he's averaging 119, last 5 104. That's pretty good for a guy who's going to be probably priced around 860k, 850k, somewhere around there. And I think Shearer is going to be around that 870k. So I probably am going to go and get rid of Ashcroft this week. It's going to be a major play, because I do think he's going to get rested. And that'll be a major play to get rid of him and Wilmot, and get him up to a premium and have a 4 premium, or have a 4 premium, even a 5 premium midfield as well as, and Warple down to D6, M6 would be the play. Hewitt did alright, but I think Hewitt, let me just see. Hewitt only got 90 in the end. I just want to see with him, because he's been underperforming, hasn't he, massively. Hewitt, average of 85 this year, a 124, and a lot of people, I think, jumped on him because of the price. And I don't think he's an option this year, given that. And then we go to Pitnet, wouldn't be touching him. Holland, I don't know how some people missed over Holland, as he's now going to be up around that Well, he's beat his break even by 48, so that would probably be a 40k increase. So he's going to be 505k, I reckon, probably. And he's going to have a really good break even next week, as if we look at Holland's here, because he didn't have the best break even, did he? Did he start as a 200k? No. He started at 280k. But he drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He drops 56 out of his system for an 86. So I think that break even actually holds at around 30, 35 or so. And if he gets another 80, that'll be huge for him. And that'll get him up towards that 550k. And we're starting to get him towards the likes of guys that can be upgraded with a rookie to a premium. So, yeah, that's positive. Then we have McGovern, Sard, Newman, Chincotta here as well. Huge from him, 75. So that's a 95 gap between his break even. So he's probably going to go up to like 390k. And we just need another couple weeks of him. And that'll be really good. Cripps underperformed. And yeah, that's all to be said. Really only had 37 in the last 3. Silvani, Curnow, Kennedy. Kennedy came on and in the last quarter had 59 points. So he's going to rocket down in price. And if he starts getting the starting job, I think he could be an option, as he did average quite a lot last year. But he's just not got good job security at the moment, because Voss keeps on playing him as the sub for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, really showed out in this game. But if we look at the full player profile and we go to 2022, 93 average in 2022, 85 the year before, 65 in that year, 48. What about this year? 64, 68. So I think he could be an 80s guy. And you've got him potentially with that huge gap now of 70. He's going to go down another 60k or so. Does he drop a good score out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He drops a 90 out, so his break even is again going to be pretty large, but he'll be at around 630k, 620k. So if he gets the starting job at 620k, he could be an absolute steal, especially because he could just be a straight swap for Ashcroft. And then, but I wouldn't like his job security at the moment. He might be one guy after the buys, or with like, or someone that you can get still around that 700k that we've seen week in, week out, go 90 for a couple of weeks, 95 for a couple of weeks, and get him then. Motlop, Wiedering, Durden, Kemp went really low, so that was really good that I didn't go for him, as I pointed out that he was actually an intercept defender and could easily just drop a 40 or so, as he did. And then we move over to Dunkley here, a 172, had a 58, a 48, and 233, so really was in it the whole time, and especially because he started off really slow. Like he was on 3 with a third of the way into the quarter, and then ended up on 33 in the end. So he ended up one of the top scorers in the first, and then just went absolutely nuts in the second, and absolutely nuts in the third, to be on, what's that, 169, 139 at 3/4 time, very similar to Brayshaw, which we'll get to in one of the reviews in the future. And yeah, just went on in the last quarter to get 172, which is huge. I wish I had VC'd him, but now he's comfortably a top 6 forward, and comfortably, well, now he's going to go back up to like 920k, as well as the fact that if we look at Josh Dunkley here, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He drops a 116 out of his system as well. So I would expect his break even to be probably 70 next week. And then he has an 80 the week after that he drops out. So he's going to go back up to 950k on the back of this performance if he just goes hundreds for the next couple weeks. And that'll be huge. Well, it'll just give me more confidence, and obviously will help with the team value. Berry, McCluggage, McInerney, Cameron, Bailey, none of these guys really are fantasy relevant. And Harris Andrews actually went 69, so he's starting to show that that was an outlier. And you got Coleman, and then you got Ashcroft here. Just didn't have one of those quarters where he looked like he could just break the game open. Didn't really get heavily involved. I mean, his best quarter was what, like 6 actions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actions in a quarter. So, I mean, he didn't have a quarter where he had like 15, 20 actions where, like Dunkley in the third, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And in those 12, there's a lot of, like here, a tackle and a handball and etc. like that. Whereas Ashcroft, it's all just a one disposal thing. So he just didn't get involved in the game, and there's been talks that he might get rested. And I mean, he beat his break even by 25, so he's still going to go up another 10, 20k. So I might be able to access a 900k guy, especially because Wilmot basically broke even. So I'll get another 20k or so, 15k out of those two, and I have 123k, so 138k plus. So that will get me up to around that 650, and so 930. So I might be able to, yeah, I might be able to get, is it 930 or... I might be able to, 1 second. So that would get me up to 650, 750 plus, plus basically 400 would get me up to 1150, so 1130. So yeah, it would be a 930 guy, and we might be able to, it might be a 900k car, 900k guy plus Drury as well, because he might play well. And we might get him in after like a 70 or 80, and he'll be like 230k or so. So there's that. That's the plan this week, is if Ashcroft is rested on the Thursday night, if we know that, then to go and get rid of Wilmot and Ashcroft, or else it will be a Wilmot and Philippou for another guy, I think. But I think it will be an upgrade of Wilmot at this point, and then I can just slide. Well, I don't need to slide, but I can slide Cincotta back, but I want him on field at the moment with the way he's playing. Sharp played all right, so maybe he's an option as well as a pure midfielder. He's going to have a break even of, I think, his break even is probably going to be 10 or so. 10, and he's going to go to around 250k. So this is maybe the guy that we were talking about, and it would help me because it would get that, replenish that round 12 buy as well. So I don't have a lot of guys stacked at the end. Like to have a guy that potentially has good job security, especially with another injury down there. I don't think they'll get rid of Sharp because he actually played all right. And just to have him on the bench will be all right. Starcevic, McKenna, Leicester, Rayner, and then Wilmot. Wilmot, the thing is, I want to get rid of him, but also at the same time, I know that he's... So dependent on how bad his break-even is. If his break-even's only like 60, I'll probably just keep him and get the more cash out of Philippou because he's got better job security and, in my opinion, a better buy for the rookies, as well as he has the better potential to score. He just needs to honestly just get the ball, to be honest. And then you have McCarthy and Lyons coming back on. Lyons, that's going to tank his price, to be honest with you. So maybe he's an option later on in the year if he gets back into the team full time. But that's the review there, a very, very long review because there was some, I guess, more in-depth to go through, especially with these two teams being on opposite ends of the buy and trying to buy rounds and trying to think how we can structure that. So that's the review there, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.